You're listening to Red Pill 78. I am the corruption detector, and this is your Red Pill News. We've got lots of interesting stories for you today. Information about President Trump and his visit to the UK. Information about some antitrust lawsuits that are being brought against some major social media players. Also, of course, updates on Spygate and lots more. So, first here, Geraldo Rivera is weighing in on the declassification of documents. Well, take a look at this image here that Methods was able to pull up from, looks like Geraldo Rivera's Twitter. At least that's how it's noted right there. Here he is with AW himself, one of the most notorious people involved in this episode here. But let's go ahead and take a look. What is Geraldo saying in his little weigh-in? He says, here's an idea for compromise. The Dems agree to drop all Russiagate-related investigations. If they do, AG Barr agrees to stop his probe of the counterintelligence operation that targeted real Donald Trump. Then we all go forward together and let the best man or woman win. And we know how Lisa May Crowley feels about that. She says right here, HE double hockey sticks, no. I tend to agree with Lisa May right there. I don't think that this needs to be dropped. I think that Geraldo might have some, some skin in this game. What's going to happen to you, Geraldo, if this information gets declassed? And then they can go after people like Anthony W. and his friends in the Democratic Party. And then how is it going to link with people like you in the mainstream media? Well, I think I'd like to see it play out. Go ahead with the D-Class AG Barr, please, sooner rather than later. Now, as I stated earlier, President Trump is currently in the UK, and he's expected to challenge Theresa May on UK spying on his campaign during the election. We know that Five Eyes was deeply involved. President Donald Trump and First Lady Melania Trump are visiting London for their first official state visit to England, and then they are off to France for the 75th anniversary of D-Day. President Trump is expected to challenge outgoing Prime Minister Theresa May on the British spying on his campaign during the 2016 elections. And of course, looks like people in the UK are scorning Trump for visiting the UK. And it states here from the Telegraph that he is expected to challenge May on the spying by the UK in the Russia Spygate scandal. Now, Ben Riley-Smith from the Telegraph reports that the U.S. president has ordered his attorney general to scrutinize whether the UK intelligence services passed on information to the Americans that helped kick off the inquiry. Mr. Trump has voiced concerns that the clowns in America, or the Federal Bureau of Investigations, used information passed through the Five Eyes intelligence sharing network to launch the Russian links investigation before the 2016 election. In May, the British Telegraph newspaper revealed the UK knew of Christopher Steele's junk Trump Russia dossier after the 2016 election. The Gateway pundit put together evidence last month that the Brits knew earlier than they were letting on. The article released in the Daily Telegraph states that the Brits only found out about their former spy Christopher Steele's bogus dossier after the 2016 election. Their efforts were to ward off embarrassing news that might be released with the Carter Page FISA application. The problem is they lie in their report. The heads of MI5, MI6, and one of Theresa May's most trusted security advisors all knew of the Russian Trump conspiracy bogus claims before Trump. Well before Trump. The Daily Telegraph piece states that the Brits only found out about Steele's sham dossier after the 2016 election, and this is when they raised this with the British spy network. However, this is a lie. Riley-Smith claims Steele and MI6 met a week after the election, November 2016, and that the reason they met was because Trump won. According to the notes uncovered and released in May by former U.S. State Department Deputy Assistant Secretary Kathleen Kvelic, the Brits were in on it all along, certainly before the 2016 election. But look who Steele met with. Pay particular attention to the area in red. The man Steele approached was Sir Charles Farr. He was head of the Joint Intelligence Committee, the body that assesses intelligence. He had also been a top advisor in May's home office. Plus, Steele had known Farr for 20 years. He would know what to do. Kvelic's notes indicate that the Brits were in on it the entire time. Per her notes with Steele taken a few weeks before the 2016 election, Steele indicates that the Brits were in on it before the election. Look at that. The Brits, London, were in on it before the 2016 election, and their attempted effort to cover this up is a lie. Trump knew the UK was in on it. In April, President Donald Trump tweeted out a stunning report by former clown analyst Larry Johnson at OANN. Johnson accused the United Kingdom of helping the former administration of Barry spy on the 2016 Trump presidential campaign. That tweet, as you may remember, says former clown analyst Larry Johnson accuses UK intelligence of helping Barry's administration spy on the 2016 Trump presidential campaign. Trump says, wow. It is now just a question of time before the truth comes out, and when it does, it will be a beauty. There's a report from Jack Paine. You guys can check that out in the link in the pinned comment below. We knew this and reported on it. The Gateway Pundit reported on it a year ago. There was solid evidence that proves a foreign government meddled in the 2016 U.S. election, but that government was the UK, not Russia. Not only the UK, but Italy as well, as we've been coming to find out. More information on that at the end of the report. So I would really believe that Trump is going to ask some tough questions of Theresa May in their meeting today, and it's probably not going to end there. I'm sure that this will mean some ongoing speaking and investigations pertaining to the Spygate scandal with the incoming Prime Minister as well in the UK. Hopefully, this is going to bring many pieces of evidence to bear, and we can make sure that something like this will never happen again. Now, John W. Huber, Undercover Huber on Twitter, has his own thread related to this information. He says Trump should ask lame duck PM Theresa May about Christopher Steele's dossier because both of her two most senior intelligence advisors working directly for her had access to it. Here is how the UK sets up their intelligence system. 3 political appointees. You've got the Foreign Secretary, who also runs MI6 and GCHQ. The Home Secretary also runs MI5, and then the Defense Secretary. You've got 2 senior intelligence advisors, the National Security Advisor and the Chairman of Joint Intelligence. So here is the lines of ministerial responsibility and how they connect. Theresa May's 2 senior intelligence advisors, the National Security Advisor, Sir Mark Lyle Grant, and the Chairman of JIC, Sir Charles Farr. Note, they worked for the PM and only for the PM throughout 2015, 2016, and 2017. There they are. There's Theresa May. Here is the line here. Goes directly to them. They bypass all of these people here and go straight to Theresa May. I already revealed over a year ago that Steele gave his dossier memos to Sir Charles Farr, then chairman of the JIC, a former colleague of Steele's in MI6. So one of May's 2 senior advisors was known to have had the dossier, but maybe the other didn't? Doesn't sound like very probable to me. Here is the article from the Daily Telegraph about the spies given the lurid dossier on Trump right there. Now, nope. Last week, John Solomon Reports broke the story that the National Security Advisor Mark Lyle Grant also had access to Steele's material and may have warned the Trump and Barry administrations that the British had concerns about Steele's credibility. From the piece by John Solomon, multiple witnesses have told Congress that a week before Trump's inauguration in January 2017, British top national security official sent a private communique to the incoming administration addressing his country's participation in the counterintelligence probe into the now debunked Trump-Russia election collusion. Most significantly, then British National Security Advisor Sir Mark Lyle Grant claimed in the memo, hand-delivered to incoming U.S. National Security Advisor Mike Flynn's team, that the British government lacked confidence in the credibility of former MI6 spy Christopher Steele's Russia collusion evidence, according to congressional investigators who interviewed witnesses familiar with the memo. That means both the top 2 intelligence officials who worked directly for Theresa May and only Theresa May had access to Steele's material. It is inconceivable that she wasn't briefed on his claims that candidate Trump, POTUS-elect, and POTUS Trump was potentially a Putin asset. Here are some questions that President Trump might want to ask a lame duck Prime Minister Theresa May. First, what did you know and when did you know it? Second, did you check out the accuracy or credibility of Steele's reports? Third, collusion is a hoax, so have you disavowed Steele? And finally, why are you allowing Steele to duck AG Barr's inquiry? This is the best question of all. if they are allowing Steele to duck the inquiry and hide out in England, not be compelled to come before Congress or AG Barr and answer questions, it looks to me like they are trying to cover something up. Theresa May is in the last days of her administration here, and it seems that it would probably be better for her and everyone involved, especially the relationship between the UK and the US, for her to come clean and answer these questions. Now, finally, from London, you can see here we've got several people demonstrating. Looks like they are speaking with the police there in London. And look at that shirt that this gentleman is wearing. Looks like he's got a couple of flags there, and one of them is definitely the U.S. flag. Pretty cool. I wonder how many of these shirts you would find if you were walking the streets of London today. Now, I'm sure that everyone has heard the hubbub related to the Nancy Pelosi video that someone had slowed down to make it look like she was drunk. You know, it wasn't necessary to slow it down to make it look like she was drunk, because quite often she can be found a little bit tipsy when she's at these press conferences. But the Daily Beast has now doxxed an African-American Trump supporter who shared that meme of Pelosi slurring her words, and CNN has promoted the story. Whatever happened to the tenet of journalism, do no harm, guys? Last week, a video made the rounds of Speaker Pelosi slurring her words in a presser. The video was widely shared on social media, as you might expect. Now, Lou Dobbs later ran his own clip from Pelosi's press conference, where they pieced together the stuttering and brain freezes on trouble counting. Let's go ahead and take a look at that real quick.
I want to play a clip and get your reaction to it.
Sure.
Here's Nancy Pelosi today. Take a look.
We had a little longer on the floor, the custody of the border. Everyone, he started sending signals. The U.S., Mexico, Canada. If that's not the accurate category, some people call it after NAFTA. Some call it NAFTA 2.0. Working together to make past that. Not if we're the three things. We're very busy people.
Okay, last time I checked, this is 3, not this. It was worse yesterday. We played another clip. She could not put a subject with a predicate in the same sentence. What's going on?
You know, I mean, obviously, I'm 76 years old. She's a couple years older than I am, and we all age a little differently. My sense is she has a very big job. I think she's getting worn down. She always was very neat, very proper. I think she's very inarticulate, which she's never been in the past. And I think to a certain extent, she needs to kind of step in the background and not be out front as much. And she shouldn't be the point person leading the Democrats.
Nancy Pelosi clearly has some issues. Whatever they're related to, it seems she would be best to step down from her position. At the very least, maybe take a less active role. President Trump later retweeted the Lou Dobbs video. Over the weekend, HRC and Nancy Pelosi demanded that Facebook remove the doctored video of Pelosi slurring her words. So far, the video remains just like the dozens of doctored anti-Trump videos that regularly make the rounds. Well, then this happened. The neo-fascista Daily Beast reporter doxxed a black conservative male for the crime of posting the Nancy Pelosi meme video. That's right, an anonymous private citizen has been outed by the Daily Beast for the crime of having the wrong politics. The Daily Beast reporter, quote-unquote, Kevin Poulsen, said he went looking for the Russian troll behind the drunk Pelosi viral video. Because when you are a brain-dead leftist, anyone who supports President Trump and criticizes Democrats is a Russian troll. Turns out he's an itinerant forklift operator from the Bronx who's been secretly running hard-right news outlets across social media for years. Also, not Russian, Kevin Poulsen tweeted. How brave. What garbage. I can't believe that this is what passes for journalism in the left-wing outlets. The victim of this fascist doxing. Now, I wasn't going to show Sean's profile because initially he had specified that he did not want to be revealed. But now that he has been revealed, I actually am going to suggest that everyone follow him and support him, because this is the kind of garbage reporting done by the Daily Beast that destroys people's lives. It may have become difficult for him to get work in the wake of something like this, but in an instance where we have the option and the power, the ability to go and support someone in our movement, I think that that's very important. And like I said, I suggest that everyone go and follow Sean and show him your support. Now, the private citizen who, being targeted for ruin, did not break any laws, yet the hate mob and enemy of the people, the media, wants to destroy his life, is shown right here. Even worse, the man who was being targeted said he didn't even make the video of Pelosi sounding drunk. He merely posted it to Facebook like hundreds of other people did. The Daily Beast fabricated part of their article too, and the victim punched back. I never said I made $1,000. That is a lie. Sean was quoted as saying, "I never made $1,000. That is a lie. This guy just made up a bunch of stuff and added my past history, which isn't all true, and have convinced you all that everything he wrote was true. Bottom line is, I never made the video. I shared it just like thousands of other people," Sean tweeted. Glenn Greenwald here on Twitter writes, "Anyway, I would offer my heartfelt congratulations to the super brave, intrepid, speaking truth to power journalistic warriors of the Daily Beast for finally exposing this African-American day laborer / Pelosi Facebook critic, but they're so endlessly congratulating themselves." Worse, the previous anonymous laborer whom the Daily Beast maliciously exposed as punishment for having bad politics denies he even committed the thought crime of making the Pelosi mocking video, insisting he just posted it. Who cares? His politics are wrong. Ruin his life. It also appears Facebook assisted the Daily Beast and gave them the private citizen's personal information. From Tim Pool here, he says, "Minimize harm. Remember that one? These people are evil." Apparently, Facebook even assisted in the doxing of a private individual over a stupid meme video. And then later, CNN spread the news. They know about doxing conservatives. Remember when that poor guy made the meme of Donald Trump wrestling with a CNN-headed individual? Just ridiculous. According to a report out by Big League Politics, the Daily Beast writer who doxed the black conservative is a convicted felon who was previously banned from using the internet for committing espionage against the United States. Wow. Wow. I can't even believe this. This is insane. And here is that report from the Big League Politics article. Let's see. Daily Beast writer Kevin Poulsen, who was previously banned from the internet for being implicated in numerous crimes, including espionage against the United States, has doxed the man who shared the viral video of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, in which her vocal pitch was lowered and the video was purposely slowed to make her seem even less articulate than usual. Now, here's the sauce on Poulsen. In November 1989, Poulsen was indicted on 19 counts of conspiracy, fraud, wiretapping, and money laundering. If convicted, the charges could have brought him up to 37 years in jail, but Poulsen did not go quietly. In fact, he fled, and he was beyond the reach of law enforcement for a full 17 months. Poulsen had burrowed deep into the giant switching networks of Pacific Bell, exploring and exploiting nearly every element of its computers. His forays led to a now infamous incident with KIIS-FM in Los Angeles. Each week, the station ran the Win a Porsche by Friday contest, with a $50,000 Porsche given to the 102nd caller after a particular sequence of songs announced earlier in the day was played. On the morning of June 1st, 1990, the trio of songs was played on the air. Businessmen, students, housewives, and contest fanatics jammed the lines with autodialers and car phones, but Poulsen had a different method. He and his associates, stationed at their computers, seized control of the station's 25 telephone lines, blocking out all calls but their own. Then he dialed the 102nd call and later collected his Porsche 944. But that wasn't all. He allegedly wiretapped the intimate phone calls of a Hollywood actress, conspired to steal classified military orders, cracked an army computer, and snooped into an FBI investigation assassination of former Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos, all while working on national security matters. Polson was found guilty and imprisoned for 5 years for his crimes, and was then banned from the internet until 2004 when he persuaded his probation officer to allow him to access the World Wide Web. Polson revealed as much when writing for Exile. 18 months after my release, with 1 year of probation remaining, my probation officer was ready to let me loose on the net. But the proposal came with a caveat. I had to find an internet service provider that would agree to monitor my actions and give my PO access to the traffic reports on demand. Yes, I was in. I now knew enough about the net from the mainstream media to suppose that it was rife with surveillance and snooping, as with hardcore PORN and illegal gambling. I thought it would be a breeze. Considering now, 15 years later, Polson used his internet privileges to dox a private individual, one must wonder if his former probation officer is scratching his head and contemplating whether he made the correct decision. So Kevin Polson, a convicted felon and an internet criminal, used his abilities to track down and dox someone for doing something they didn't even do. Kevin Polson does not deserve to have access to the internet, and he is a sad and sorry excuse for a journalist. Shame on you, Kevin Polson. Now, the Daily Beast is actually defending their story about the doxing this Trump supporter over this viral Pelosi meme. This is Noah Shachtman. He appeared on CNN to defend his outlet's article, which doxed a working-class supporter of President Trump for creating a viral video of Nancy Pelosi, except he didn't actually create it. Now, the article, of course, by Kevin Polson, claimed that he was looking for the Russian troll behind the video and instead found this working-class, blue-collar, black Trump supporter. Now, what's really shocking here is that Facebook may have assisted Polson in doxing this guy. The attack on the man by the Daily Beast with the assistance of Facebook caused prompt backlash against the outlet and the reporter. And on Sunday, Shachtman appeared on CNN to defend their reporting and claimed that it was right on the money, naturally without pushback from Reliable Sources host Brian Stelter. Let's take a listen to this.
This is a video that was a hoax that reached up to the highest levels of power, with Rudy Giuliani himself pushing it out. And so there was a lot of speculation about who might or might not be behind this. And so Kevin Polson was able to track down the kind of network of fake news sites that were pushing this, and then the person that first uploaded the video.
And what we learned from the story is that there's a profit motive here, that you can put up a lot of these videos on Facebook, you can make a quick buck. Didn't this guy say he made $1,000?
Yeah, I mean, but look, that's not... It might have been a lot of money to him, but I don't think it was a pure profit motive. I think for him it was a matter of ideology. It was, he's a big Trump supporter. And, one of the most interesting things about this story to me was that, you don't need some sophisticated operation in order to publish fake news or publish a hoax that'll grab the country's attention.
It doesn't take a Russian bot farm. It's just one person with video editing software tricking people.
Yeah, exactly. And I thought that was the real key to the story, and the reason.
And
the
people saying that you shouldn't have named him because he's a private citizen. I'm seeing a lot of people on Twitter saying you all were irresponsible for outing him.
Yeah, I don't think that's accurate. First of all, I think he outed himself, by attaching his name to several fake news sites that then pushed the video. Okay. And then he spoke to our reporter at length and on the record for an hour and a half. And then we also withheld some information that he didn't want out there that he felt would impinge his privacy. So I am glad that these people want to protect the privacy of this man, but I think our actions in this case were right on the money.
Our actions in this case were right on the money. You have got to be kidding me. How can any actual journalist look at this and not see it for what it is? How many other videos exist out there making fun of Donald Trump? You have not seen a single left-wing outlet go after the left-wing radicals that are pushing this garbage against our president. Now, Stelter pointed out the small amount of money that the person may have made from the meme video's traffic, $1,000, and asserted there's a profit motive here, assigning nefarious motives to someone having fun on the internet because it was at his party's expense. At this point, Shachtman chimed in and asserted it might have been a lot of money to him, but I don't think it was a profit motive. It was for ideology. One of the most interesting things about the story is that you don't need some sophisticated operation in order to publish fake news, like an operation like CNN, perhaps. Stelter ironically chimed in saying it doesn't take a Russian bot farm. The left is apparently so inept at memes that they can barely comprehend the fact that they are incredibly simple to create. Now, the man, Sean, has now launched a fundraiser to take legal action against the Daily Beast. The campaign has already raised nearly $5,000 in less than a day, and I actually want to pull that up and see how much money he's raised at this point. He's now up to $6,440. I am going to be donating to Sean's campaign here. I would love to see the Daily Beast get taken down. This is really, really bad. For them to single someone out and put them on display and publicly shame them for things that they themselves do on a regular basis is just mind-boggling. The Daily Beast is a garbage rag of a publication, and anyone working for them is the same. Now, some good news from earlier today. Looks like Alphabet, Facebook, and Apple are potentially looking at antitrust cases. Actually, there has been an investigation opened by the DOJ. So this would be the parent company of this company right here, Google. Alphabet Incorporated, Facebook, and Apple tumbled as the companies appear set to undergo U.S. antitrust probes after the Justice Department and the Federal Trade Commission agreed to split up oversight of technology giants. The DOJ's preparations to investigate Alphabet, first reported late Friday, mark the Trump administration's first concrete step to scrutinize the potentially anti-competitive conduct of a large technology firm. On Monday, a person familiar with the matter said the FTC will oversee antitrust scrutiny into whether Facebook's practices have harmed competition in the digital market. Reuters reported that the DOJ has been given jurisdiction over a potential probe of Apple. Alphabet fell as much as 7.2% to $1,027 in New York, its lowest since January. Facebook tumbled as much as 9.3% to $161, the most since July, and the news also sent shares of Amazon down as much as 5.4% and Apple as much as 2.7%. If the DOJ moves ahead, an investigation will likely embolden critics of Facebook, Amazon, and other tech giants, causing rhetoric to heat up during the 2020 election year, analysts led by Justin Post at Merrill Lynch wrote in a note to investors. Amazon could also be scrutinized as a result of a new agreement between regulators that puts it under the jurisdiction of the FTC, the Washington Post reported over the weekend. American antitrust officials are under increasing pressure from both Democrat and Republican lawmakers to step up scrutiny of technology giants, and several presidential candidates have already weighed in. Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren laid out a detailed plan for breaking up the tech giants in March. European officials have already been aggressively pursuing antitrust cases against American tech firms, including the owner of this platform, while so far the U.S. has been mostly hands-off. Now, this is great news, you guys, because we all know that there has been increasing actions by these tech giants to silence voices such as you and me. And that has really interfered with our ability to reach people, our ability to be successful on this platform. There was a distinct drop-off. My subscriber base was rising, and then all of a sudden, in a single day, it just stopped. Okay? That is clearly manipulation on behalf of the people running this platform. Now, don't forget post 896. Some platforms will collapse under the weight of their illegal activities. It's happening to all of them as we speak. Now, Roger Stone has made a post calling for former Clown director John Brennan to be hung for treason. Longtime Trump associate Roger Stone reportedly called for former Clown director John Brennan to be hung for treason in a now-deleted social media message posted Saturday night. Stone, a veteran Republican political consultant, called out Brennan in a series of Instagram posts and videos, Newsweek has reported. One post featured an image of Brennan with the caption, "This psycho must be charged, tried, convicted, and hung for treason." It was reportedly deleted an hour later. Robert Bushell, Stone's attorney, did not immediately respond to an email from Fox News for comment. Brennan, who served as former President Barry Obama's clown director, has been accused by Republicans, along with former FBI Director James Comey, of relying too heavily on the much-reported dossier compiled by British intelligence official Christopher Steele to launch the Justice Department's investigation into the Trump campaign and its suspected ties to Russia. Of course, Brennan has denied denied that the dossier played a role in the IC's surveillance program, and Stone, who briefly worked for Trump's presidential campaign, has been charged by special counsel Robert Mueller for witness tampering, obstruction, and making false statements, and he entered a plea of not guilty. Cannot wait to see Roger Stone's case go to court, because the discovery in that will be spectacular. Roger Stone was right on. He used the T word and he used the H word, and both of those things are true and need to take place. Brennan is one of the most guilty people among them, and we know that his personal spying program went back much, much farther than previously admitted. Now, there are new struck page emails that have been revealed, and at least 4 FBI 302 reports related to Hillary Clinton's investigation were never written. Conservative watchdog group Judicial Watch announced Monday it received 218 pages of struck page emails, which show FBI counsel James Baker instructed FBI officials to expedite the release of FBI probe material to Hillary Clinton's lawyer in August of 2016. Hillary's lawyer, David Kendall, and FBI counsel James Baker discussed quickly obtaining the 302 report of the FBI DOJ interview of Clinton. FD 302 reports are notes FBI officials take to summarize interviews they conduct with an individual. The struck page email also shows that the FBI failed to document at least 4 interviews of witnesses in the Clinton email probe. Remember, this was happening at the same time Strzok launched Crossfire Hurricane to investigate Trump and Russia. Now, from Judicial Watch, on August 16, 2016 at 10:02 p.m., Baker emails then Associate Deputy Director David Bowditch, Michael Steinbach, former Executive Assistant for National Security, and a whole host of other people to inform them that he just spoke with Clinton's lawyer Kendall, who requested documents from the FBI. Baker says he told Kendall he would need to submit a request, and Baker tells them, "I said we would process it expeditiously. I just spoke with David Kendall. I conveyed our view that in order to obtain the documents, FBI investigative material they are seeking, they need to submit a request pursuant to the Privacy Act and FOIA. I said they could submit a letter to me covering both statutes. They will send it in the morning. I said that we would process it expeditiously. David asked us to focus first on the Secretary's 302 FBI interview report. I said okay, and then portion is redacted. We will have to focus on this issue tomorrow and get the 302 out the door as soon as possible, and then focus on the rest of the stuff." The following day, on August 17th, Kendall sent a FOIA Privacy Act request on behalf of former Secretary of State Hillary Rodham Clinton to the FBI's top lawyer with a request for expeditious processing. Baker passes this request to Bowditch, Steinbach, Herring, Page, and Anderson. He says, "In my view, we need to move as quickly as possible on this, but pursuant to David's oral request last night, we should focus first on Secretary Clinton's 302. Is the end of this week out of question for her 302? Then, in an August 21st email exchange, Baker tells his people that he would alert Kendall shortly before Clinton's 302 was to be posted on the FBI's FOIA Vault webpage. On September 2nd, the FBI announced the release of Clinton's interview documents. Finally, on August 24th, the acting FBI FOIA unit chief says he sees no problem with giving Hillary's attorney a heads up before her records were posted to the vault. Well, it gets worse. Lisa Page responds to FBI counsel Peter Strzok and others that 4 FBI 302 report interviews related to Hillary's mid-year exam investigation had never even been written. Today, Redacted brought over additional 302s from the Washington field office. Are those supposed to go through the redaction process for production to DOJ on Monday? We're trying to figure out what needs to be completed this weekend. Lisa Page responds, "Redacted, to the best of my knowledge, yes, they will. When Pete identified for Redacted the DOJ edits that needed to be made to the 302s, Redacted discovered that there were 4, 302s that had never been written. What I don't know is whose 302s they are, but unless Pete or John are able to respond in short order, I would throw them on the pile for redactions. Thanks so much." These incredible documents show the leadership of the FBI rushed to give Hillary Clinton an FBI interview report shortly before the election, said Judicial Watch President Tom Fitton. And the documents also show the FBI failed to timely document interviews in the Clinton email matter, further confirming the whole investigation was a joke. AG Barr can't reopen the Clinton email investigation soon enough. Incredible. Now, it's just become more and more obvious. Every day that Judicial Watch gets more information through these FOIA requests, we see clearer and clearer the evidence showing that the FBI favored Hillary Clinton, that they bent over backwards to work on her behalf, and that this investigation was a joke from the very beginning. Please, AG Barr, please reopen this investigation into Hillary Clinton and her emails. The mid-year investigation was not an investigation to begin with. Now, it's just come out that at 6:15 today, there is going to be an unexpected press conference by the Italian Prime Minister, and no one knows what it's about, but he says that I have some very important things to tell you all. This is from Giulio Occhianero, the gentleman from the Neon Revolt articles regarding Operation Charlemagne and the Silent Ones. I have an interview scheduled with Giulio Occhianero. After reading both of the Neon Revolt articles, I had a couple of questions for him that I submitted via email. And hopefully he'll be getting back to me in short order, and then I can present them to you guys tomorrow. So by tomorrow, we're going to have this press conference already happening. So it's very possible that this press conference is going to have something to do with either the Italian intelligence officials who were asked to resign, who I believe are part of the Silent Ones, which was mentioned in a very early post from our favorite Anon. And then the former Italian prime minister also handed in his resignation. And then, of course, we know that Joseph Mifsud was living and has been living in Italy, presumably under the protection of this Italian intelligence team. Now, just to give you a quick recap, it's theorized by Giulio that the Hillary Clinton campaign and perhaps the FBI here in America that were working on her behalf had requested for Hillary Clinton emails to be deposited on servers owned by Giulio Occhianero and then use that to tie him with the Trump campaign, forcing President Trump to resign. If you guys have not read those articles by Neon Revolt, I will include them in the pinned comment below this, and then I suggest that you guys just brief up on those, and then hopefully this week I'll be able to release the information from Giulio in our email exchange. All right, thank you so much for sticking with us today. That's all I have for the news. So I just want to say thank you to all my viewers, anybody who has sent me anything, and thank you everyone just for watching. So that's all I have for you today. I want to thank everyone for joining me. As always, this has been Red Pill 78. I am the Corruption Detector, and this was your Red Pilled News. Good luck, everyone, and God bless.